Welcome back to Peak Humans. Today I'm joined by Taylor Conroy, a meditating surfer, social entrepreneur, activist, and speaker driven to create real change. As the founder of Change Heroes, he helped fund and build 400 schools, water projects, and social impact initiatives across 80 countries, impacting 200,000 lives. He's spoken at Harvard, Princeton, and the UN, sharing how to build businesses that make money while making a difference. From firefighting and bodybuilding to studying with Zen monks and filming documentaries on global issues, Taylor's journey is extraordinary. Now he's co-founding Journey, an impact travel company transforming communities and travelers alike. Let's dive into his story. Taylor, thanks for being on the show.
My absolute pleasure. And Journey, actually funny, Journey was a minute ago. Journey was a company, well, 2 companies ago. That said, it's literally like resurging right now. We're doing a trip to Oaxaca at the end of August this year, where we're going to build 15 houses in 2 days. And if someone wants to build a house and come on that trip, then they can hit me up.
Nice. 15 houses in 2 days.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
they're
awesome.
prefabricated, they go fast, and the intention is like I've always thought, like, is there a scalable, like predictable way that someone could increase altruism, philanthropy, and care in a human being? Can you do that at scale? And I remember like studying all these stories of nonprofit founders, these people that were living one type of life. And like you think of Scott Harrison from Charity Water. He was a nightclub promoter and doing his thing. Went on this trip. He went to Liberia, was part of Mercy Ships as a photographer. His life changes, comes back, and the dude's, I don't know how many wells he's helped raise money for and dig, but just insane amounts. Same thing for Craig Kielburger from We Charity. Same thing for John Wood from Room to Read. So I was like, dude, I wonder if we could do that at scale. Could we just like pump out altruistic, philanthropic humans, at scale? That was the idea behind it.
I love that. I was going to ask you, or am going to ask you, how do you scale empathy?
I think that, I mean, the empathy is like, in my mind, if you think like the core motivation, I feel like, I guess I can just speak from my own experiences, oneness. Oneness to me is a beautiful thing to aspire to. Oneness as in we're all the same, we're part of the same organism, we're the same as everything around us, et cetera, et cetera. Now, oneness, the closest thing in a emotion or an experience in the human experience, I think, is empathy, right? Not just thinking, like, oh yeah, I understand what they feel, but feeling what they feel, right? And so I feel like the more empathy that we have for someone, the more connection we have with someone, the closer we are to oneness, which in my mind is like probably true bliss and happiness and euphoria. And so to scale oneness, scaling empathy is into service to scaling oneness or increasing consciousness.
Yeah, I love that. I was just going to say, it's scaling consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. Scale consciousness. So like, how do we do that
Yeah.
in the 3D and join these, the 3D and the 5D and whatever? And if we can do that, that's what these experiences are about. Like these trips will bring like probably 40 people to build these 15 houses in Mexico. And on that trip, each person's going to have their own experience of, oh, wait a second, this house that I'm building, this family that I'm, helping to build this house for, or raise the money to build this house for, they are exactly the same as me. The only difference is they were born here, I was born here. These were our life circumstances. These are the choices that we made, etc. And so when that gap gets bridged of like, oh, wait, fellow humans, they're not that different from me. Actually, they're not different from me at all. Actually, they're identical to me. They're the exact same. We're the same. Then that's what I think scales empathy. And then, the domino effect is oneness or consciousness.
I love that. That's awesome, man. I could talk about this stuff for days. Before we get into this deeper, awesome stuff, part of what you do too is you help people scale their businesses online. You help them make more money. You help people blow up their brands on TikTok, on social media, make millions of dollars. You also help people book TED Talks. You also have had 4 TED Talks. Was it 4 TED Talks you've done?
Yeah, for
Cool. Awesome. So I just want to make sure we talk about some of that stuff too. And we're also going to definitely dive in deeper into the empathy and the oneness and the consciousness as well. Can you tell us a little about your story? Like, how did Taylor get to this point from building all these businesses online, helping people scale their brands on TikTok, and also building these schools and communities around the world?
I'd say the through line is intensity.
Yeah.
The through line is like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what it was. Maybe, I don't know what it was early on. I remember meeting an uncle of mine, or like I live in Hawaii. So in Hawaii, we call, someone who's older than us, and we respect uncle. So this guy wasn't a blood uncle of mine, but back in the day, he died of cancer right when I was really young. His name's Tom. And I remember being an incredibly pivotal moment in my life. I must have been like 10 or 11 or 12 years old. I was not old. And I watched this guy go through like his chemo, and he ended up at some point, all his I don't know why, his fingers had to get taken off, and his toes, and it was just this like massive process of him dying. And he eventually died, and it was mortality. It was the first time mortality came on my radar, right? Because I was watching this guy who was basically like one of my mom's best friends, and he passed away from cancer. And I don't know if it was that or exactly what the moment was, but I became really, really intense on living like a very full life. Like really living like the full intensity, to the extreme of deep, incredible, profound empathy, and wanting to, build these 400 schools, and going to Cambodia and filming a mini documentary in the red light district of Phnom Penh to combat sex trafficking, right? Or to the other extreme of like going and doing ice plunges with Wim Hof in Poland, or and just the extremes. And same thing with money. Money is but a vehicle, right? Or like an avenue to explore, as is consciousness and spirituality and relationships and all that kind of stuff. Money is just one path. And I feel like any of those whatever path that it is that resonates with us, is going to push us through the growth that we need to go through to be the person that we want to be, et cetera, et cetera. So money just happens to be the path that I've chosen as a double Capricorn. It's no surprise that I like money. I think Capricorns like money, as a path of growth. So the intensity was like, I want to live fully. I became the youngest firefighter in North America. I was the youngest realtor to ever make $500,000 in a year. Built the most successful, at the most highest converting fundraising platform on earth at the time, and now have a company that I think genuinely, arguably, is like the hands down the best at helping someone build a following organically. There's no tricks, there's no tips, you know what I mean? Like, but all of that is because of this insane intensity that lives in my body. And I would assume you have some intensity, right? And or maybe that intensity for you shows up somewhere else. For me, it's like my mind doesn't stop, right? My mind is like, when I've got something, like a problem that I want to figure out, like how to, even building an organic following, you'd think that it kind of sounds trite. It kind of might sound trivial, like, oh yeah, building a social media following. Dude, do you have any idea the impact that a person can make if they've got a built-in audience of fucking hundreds of thousands or millions of people that they can access like that? Do you know how many, looking back when I was building all the schools and stuff, I can't even fathom how many more schools, more homes, all of that stuff I would have done if I actually took social media seriously back then. So it's like, if someone wants to make more money, amazing. I would love to help them provide for their family. If someone wants to make a massive impact in the world, the cool thing is that the path to making a massive impact, or making a shit ton of cash, whatever it is, I think the core of it is someone sharing their expertise every day via social media, which is why like I'm streaming this right now, right? Like, I feel like we should be sharing our expertise over and over and over again. The people that resonate with us, they follow us, and you can activate insane movements.
Yep.
By hitting fucking record and putting your life online for a bit,
Dude, 100%. I love that mindset that you have. And that's on it. That's why I reached out to you, because I'm like, Taylor's there. Your consistency and that drive is really, it's admirable, right? Most people, they aren't consistent with anything, right? But especially building their business and being consistent with helping more, serving people. And it is that mindset. Most people think you're taking, right? You're trying to sell something and trying to get something, right? but you're
Yes.
actually doing it for the real reason, which is actually adding value, pushing value into the world, right? How can you keep adding value? I know you're not doing it for the money, right? Money's cool, but you
Yeah.
already got a lot of money. It's a deeper purpose that you're doing it,
Yes.
which is awesome.
Dude, what if we die? Like this, I
Yeah.
think I have a son who's 3, and that like really highlighted the mortality conversation for me. I was like, dude, if I died, he's not old enough right now to like take in information that I'm sharing with them. If I died, I want him to be able to, it sounds, again, might sound trivial because it's TikTok or social media and these things have lost the profundity that they truly have. But like, I want him to be able to go on my social media and watch all those videos and be like, oh, that's how dad thought about money. That's
Yeah.
how he thought about business. I just want to share all of that. And you're right, people, I get the comments all the time. People are like, I can't believe you made this video to hawk your coaching. And I'm like, I'm not selling anything on you. What are you talking about? I have literally nothing to sell. Like, sure, if you want a TED Talk, great, but it's not even close to, you know, connected to my content,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
So what's yours? What's your intensity, Naeem? What do you live for? What would you die for right now?
That's a great question, man. Well, it's for me, it's funny, right? I kind of feel this. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, why am I? It's kind of like your blessing is also your curse. I'm like, why am I still doing this, right? Why am I still trying to coach people, help people, like put out content and like be a coach? It's hard to, I don't want to say it's hard, that's a bad mindset, right? But like there's a lot of other easier ways to make a lot of money, right? But I think my intensity is really to, I grew up with a lot of we all have challenges, right? But I had a lot of pain growing up with my parents fighting a lot. Growing up in school, I was kind of like the ethnic guy in a mostly Caucasian neighborhood, so I didn't always get fit in. So for me, the intensity is to like one, help people learn how to love bigger and deeper in their families because I didn't always experience that in my family. But then two, in a personal, social, like regular life setting as well, outside of your family, similar thing, right? It's like how I wish people like, man, I just want to be friends and like love people and like people to get along. And it always kind of bothered me that people were making fun of you or like just not understanding other people. So my mission and my why is really to like help people use these tools that I've discovered on how to just get out of this pain because you don't have to pain is normal, right? It's how you grow, but suffering is an optional thing where people don't realize it though, right? And we have these stories and beliefs and mindsets that keep us in a suffering pattern. But the cool thing is once I realized that in my early 20s, it's like this is cool. Like I don't have to suffer anymore. Like pain is normal, it's how I grow. But like I live where I want to live. I have the most beautiful, amazing what fiance now. We're almost kind of confused with the wife and fiance thing because we did a marriage ceremony. But I have the most amazing fiance and I have amazing friends now. I'm making great money. My business is my dream business. So like I'm like, man, I want everybody to like you want to scale empathy. It's like I want to scale like being able to really blast through any pain and just really live life on your terms. And I think the deeper thread that I love about you talking about, it all leads to the same place. It's really scaling consciousness. Because the only reason people hate on each other or don't know how to do this stuff is we just have a lower level of consciousness, which is normal too, right? But it's really, I want to scale consciousness like you.
Beautiful. Yeah, well said. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. What would you say? I like that you said that about your son, and I think about that too sometimes. I had a YouTube channel that got taken down, which sucks. Got all these old videos. It was kind of like my record of. It was cool to see my content from like 12 years ago now, 15 years ago. Now I realize I should store it on a hard drive, which I'm doing now. But what would you say to your son about money if he's watching this video, this podcast, and how old your son's 3, right? Maybe in 15 years when he's 18, what would you say to him?
Yeah, one thing I would say to my son about money, or one thing that I would teach my son about money that most people didn't get taught as a kid, is that number one, exchanging time for money never scales.
Mm,
The amount of time and energy and thought and creativity that goes into anything of significant value is would never happen if someone was trying to get paid for it. If that makes sense. So if someone's trying to innovate a new microphone or a company like this company called Mene, which is this is a pure gold necklace, and they sell these necklaces. The price of it changes every second because it goes up and down with the price of gold. Basically, the price of gold plus 30%. The time and thought that goes into all of these things that actually provide value to the marketplace or to society is from people that put all that time and energy and thought into it for free. And they did it because there's something moving through them that makes them want to create, makes them want to bring something into existence that is not in existence. And therefore, they're involved in the creative process. They're not involved in the, how would you say it? They're not trying to monetize something that I call like process-based thinking. They're not trying to monetize, like, I'm going to work for an hour and then you're going to give me $50 because I, whatever, helped you mow your lawn, or I helped you write up a legal document, or I helped you clean out a shed or something like that. There's the people that are the most wealthy and rich and abundant and genuinely happy. Money is but a reflection of the creative process that they are perpetually in, right? Like looking at the business that I have now, it is what it is because I just love to create. I have to be creating. There needs to be something new that I'm working on. And it's like the definition of, it's not the, it's not the summit, it's the climb, or it's not the destination, it's the journey. The journey, but most people don't actually like dive into like, what does that actually mean? Well, the journey is the creative process. The journey is this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm figuring it out, and I've got this and I've got that, da da da. Whereas we have been taught to resent the figuring it out part. Oh, it's hard to figure this out. Yeah, fuck yeah. You should be doing something that's hard to figure out because it's new. It doesn't exist, right? If you're creating something that doesn't exist, there is a force of nature, of the universe, or whatever that is behind you that doesn't exist when you're trying to exchange time for money. I've never jumped out of bed happier and quicker with more energy than when I'm trying to figure something out and trying to grow and build something, right? The people that get out of bed really slow and whatnot is because they have a predictable life. They know what they're going to be doing 9 to 5 that day. Therefore, it's not exciting. They're not trying to figure everything out. The journey is the figuring out place. That's the most beautiful place to be. And so what I would teach my son is perpetually be figuring stuff out. And by figuring stuff out that brings beautiful value to the marketplace and makes you feel alive at the same time.
Dude, I love that. Money's a reflection of the creative process that you're in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Like, think of it for a second. You were saying earlier, like, oh yeah, I want to get Taylor, and he's consistent and he's putting value into the world. That's your opinion, is that I'm putting value into the world. And I'm grateful for that opinion. And I hope other people have that as well. The real key to making an abundance of money, having abundance of happiness and health, in my genuine, or humble opinion, is by being a person of increase. And this was popularized in the book Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, that was written 100 years ago. A person of increase is magnetic. A person of increase is someone that when you see them, you go, there's a feeling I could be better, I could expand, I could grow by being around that person. We've all felt the opposite. There's people that we meet and be like, dude, I don't even want to be that person. I become less, I would contract if I was around that person because they just gossip and they bitch about stuff and they complain and they whatever. I lose energy by being around that person. There's also the neutral person that you meet who's your fiance's cousin, who's a nice enough guy. Sure, you'd have him over for dinner, but he's not really adding anything. Then there's people of increase that you're like, by the end of the hangout with them, you're like, I'm thinking of the world a little bit differently right now. I think of my own dreams as being more possible now than I did when I met that person, whether it's because that person is more, quote unquote, more abundant than you, or they're just like more positive than you, or whatever it is, or you guys vibe. When you're a person of increase, you don't have to, there's no shortage of clients. Clients are, the word clients are simply humans that exchange their financial energy with you for your wisdom or your innate positivity or whatever it is, for the belief that you will give them momentum that they don't have yet, right? And you're the guy who worked for Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins says the definition of happiness. Actually, let me just do this real quick. Okay. Tony Robbins says the definition of happiness is progress.
Yep.
And this is something that, being someone who I've traveled to 40 countries, many of them very much developing countries. Like I said, filming a documentary in the red light district of Phnom Penh on anti-sex trafficking work, and meeting with survivors of sex trafficking that were 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 years old in a center that we were funding, or traveling to the what do they call it? The cradle of humanity in the Masai Mara region of Kenya in the Rift Valley, right? And meeting with people that are living in adobe huts or going into the Amazon in Ecuador or whatever, a bunch of these places that I've gone, I meet all these people and I realize like, oh, the ones that are happy are the ones that are doing a bit better than they were before, and they know they're going to do a bit better than where they're at now. That's happiness. It doesn't matter if it's a bit better means they then have a roof over their head, and eventually they're going to actually have their own bedroom, and eventually they're going to have a bed. That is progress, right? And so for us, we're in this like very pampered society, right? It's a pretty dope society. Dude, if you have a roof over your head, a fridge, and a place to sleep, if you have those three things, you're richer than 75% of the people on the planet. Over 75% of the people on the planet for having a fucking roof and a fridge and a bed, right? So where we're at right now, to make genuine progress and feel that it's the only way we're going to feel is if we tap in and we genuinely have a mission, right? And we're actually on that mission and executing it, which is where, I mean, it's not to take this in some totally random direction, but which I think is where a lot of our masculinity is suffering and struggling right now, is a lack of mission.
Yeah.
But in a word, happiness, or in a sentence, the definition of happiness, or in a word, the definition of happiness is progress.
Yep, I agree. So
total yeah.
that's what we're here for, man. That's what I want. I love that. So a lot of people want, and I watched a lot of your videos on TikTok and they're great, right? I love how you explain things. I think a lot of it's spot on. You say a lot of things a lot of people don't say about how to grow a business. And for people that want to learn more, obviously go to Taylor's TikTok, or most of it's on, go to TikTok. We'll put his link below. But what can you share a little bit if somebody's wanting, and I know it's kind of a broad question and there's a lot to go into, but to like maybe for somebody who wants to build a business or is building a business, what are some pointers or lessons, or how would you approach that? What are your comments on that? How can we help people with that?
I would say that I'd say this is my favorite thing to talk about, because it's the same thing as we're talking about, like bringing consciousness down to, raising money or building houses, right? There's going to be the biggest green flag that you're going to build a business that makes a whole bunch of money is what your God number is. And the God number, or you could even call it your God task, is the creator of everything. It's the impetus. So without this thing, nothing else exists, right? So you're looking at your business, looking at all the tasks that one could take in their business. For example, let's say someone wants to launch a coaching business, consulting business, e-com brand, whatever it is. There's so many things you could focus on. You could get a logo done. You could redo your website. You could learn a sales script. You could make some organic videos, place some ads, go do a speaking gig somewhere, whatever. There's like all these different things you could do when you're growing a business, which most people drown in all of those things. The God number, the God task, is the one thing that if you did this thing, you'll have more than enough business coming in every single day of the week. 99% of entrepreneurs focus on the stuff that won't actually contribute to their business, and they have a fake, illusory feeling of momentum that is only in their head. If you design another logo for your company, you feel momentum. Ooh, I got a new logo. It means nothing. If you book a speaking gig, but you got nothing to sell, it means nothing. If you redo your website and it looks a bit fancy and you're really proud to show your mom, it means nothing business-wise. What your God number, your God task is, for example, in a coaching business, if you're not making 3 videos a day, short form pieces of content a day, and repurposing those across every platform, you are actively trying to sabotage your business. If you're not making 3 videos a day on short form, like make it on TikTok, use repurpose.io, it puts it on all the other platforms that you hook up to it. If you're not making 3 videos a day and repurposing those other platforms, then you actively hate your business and you want to destroy it, and you're scared of success, and you just want to like go nowhere in life, because that probably serves your feelings of inadequacy and the story that you get to run with yourself of, well, this is too hard, there's too many things to focus on, blah, blah, blah. In reality, the fear down below is, if I'm successful, I'm going to lose love, right? If I make more than my dad, he's not going to love me. If I make more than my mom, she's not going to love me. If I outshine my sibling, she's not going to love me. There's something way down at the root of it. And your God task is you make 3 videos a day, you put them on all the platforms. And if you're not doing that, you're actively trying to not attract clients if you're at the very beginning of your business.
Yep.
So when people are like, well, what should I do in my business? I'm like, well, first of all, get the foundations done, get the God task done, make your 3 videos a day. I'll give you a good example. Kid, I mean, I'm 43. He's 20. He was 26 at the time. He's 27 now. Comes to me. He's like, yo, I want to start this parasite cleanse business. Okay. I want to sell them. They're for $80 a piece. He had just spent all his money, his life savings, 20 grand, on buying 1,200 bottles of parasite cleanses, right? So every bottle he was going to sell for 80 bucks. I go, well, how are you going to sell them? A friend of mine introduced me to him, and she goes, you got to help this guy. He comes over, she goes, I go, how are you going to sell these things? He goes, I don't know. I'll figure out, maybe place some ads or something. And I'm like, wait, you spent $20,000 on parasite cleanses and you have no idea how to sell even one bottle? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, here's what you're gonna do. 3 videos a day for 30 days. Here's the framework that you're gonna use, all the same ones that I use in all my videos and teach all my clients to use. And I'm like, this is what you're gonna do. And then do that for 30 days, then come back to me. If you don't do it, never call me again, because you're not serious and you actually don't care about your business. But if you do it, then let me know and we'll meet up again and we'll move to stage 2. He does it, 3 videos a day, 30 days, crushes it. Video number 76 pops off and gets millions of views. And 76 videos in, right? On one hand, it sounds like a lot of videos. On the other hand, it's like, oh, that's not bad. That's only like a couple weeks worth of making videos. But most people won't do that. They will have given up after the 10th video because not enough people liked it and they took it as judgment against their character or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
And anyways, he makes the 90 videos. We meet up. Long story short, he does $25,000 in sales in his as soon as the first sale happened, 25 grand in sales in October, $90,000 in November, 112 in December, $150,000 worth of sales of parasite cleanses at $80 each. Dude, you're selling thousands of them to make that much money, right? In January, 150,000 in or maybe 125 or 150 grand, somewhere around that. And in February, he'll beat that again. And he'll keep scaling up. And the reason is because he knew what his God task was, and he didn't fuck around. He did it every single day. He made his 3 videos a day for 30 days. But everyone, the funny thing is, Naeem, in business, they go, hey, what kind of LLC structure did you set up? Or I'm just wondering, can you tell us about how you came up with the logo? Or is like, what font should you, shut the fuck, make the fucking videos, make the 3 videos. Do the thing that is the most uncomfortable, or like summarize it in a quote. I don't know, I'm getting all mad here, but summarize in a quote is successful people make a habit of doing what unsuccessful people don't want to do.
Yes.
Right? Well, you've heard that quote. I can't remember who's the guy who made that. I can't remember who it was.
I'm not sure. Some old school personal development guy, maybe Jim
Some
Rohn
old
or
school
something.
brilliant OG. Successful
Yeah.
people make a habit of doing what unsuccessful people don't want to do. So think to yourself, what do I not want to do today? Probably make videos. Make a habit of doing that. The success will like stumble and fall in your lap when you're doing the shit that people don't want to do.
Yep. I love the intensity, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's me too, man. I get really charged up too, and sometimes the clients too. But I think it's great, man. When I worked for Tony Robbins, man, that guy is fucking intense, especially
Really?
like in an event, like we're working with clients. Like if you fuck up, you'll feel that fire from him, right? Like not because he's a mean dude, but he's like,
Well, you mean like, do you
so
mean
passionate.
personally? You mean personally he's been like, Naeem,
Well,
what the
I didn't fuck up. Our team messed up right before, right? We didn't hit the numbers, right? We were the main. We were 6 guys on a sales team. We were the field in the field, right? So we'd go to LA, Miami, Oklahoma, whatever, and like we had to bring like 2,000 people. Like the 6 of us had to sell like basically 2,000 people ourselves. And then everybody else, like the phone guys, they would do like the follow ups or just easy sales, and they would bring like the other like 4,000, 5,000, right? And you'd have like 8,000, 9,000 people there. But yeah, basically, if somebody fucked up, you could feel the intensity. But that's not because he's an asshole. It's because he's so passionate about what he does and it means so much. Same with Josephina, man. Like when she's like with a client, like working, she's like so passionate about it. Like you could feel it, which is beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
It can be that simple.
Yeah.
Right? Just do the task that's going to lead to the highest leverage. Do the highest leverage task every day before you do anything else. And then everything else falls into place. If you don't do that, you just keep avoiding it, like most people do.
Yep.
Then nothing's going to work. But then they're just going to go on the next free webinar and the next training and the next try to hire the next coach who tells them that they don't have to do the hard thing.
Yep. So I've seen in some of your videos, you've helped people grow their followings to 250,000, probably Well, our friend Jackson, he's got over 1 million followers now, right? And you helped him grow his business too. Jackson Hightower, or Get Natural Jackson, if people want to go check him out. And then
Yeah.
also you've also helped with people I saw in your videos earning more than 50K a month, which is pretty cool. And this is the starting point though, right? 3 videos a day to start testing it out, get some traction and see what works.
Oh, yeah, all of them is on that protocol. The ones,
Yeah.
it's funny, like we got the one who's had the most success on TikTok is a guy named Michael. He has over 900,000 followers on TikTok. He did that in less than a year. And the reason is because I don't know exactly what it is. If people don't, I haven't figured out if do they not have big enough goals? Do they not think that they can reach them? Or are they just scared of the hard thing? It's like you can really figure out who's going to go far and who's not by the questions they ask at the beginning.
Mm,
Questions that people ask in the beginning that aren't going to go far are, how long do I need to do 3 videos a day for? Is it possible to, and they're just perpetually looking for easy ways out. Michael, he's been doing 3 videos a day since he started. He's been doing 3 videos a day for like a year.
yeah.
And therefore he's built an audience. And because he's built an audience, it's very hard for him to not make money. You build this massive audience, a small percentage of them or whatever percentage of them is going to want to do business with him because he served his audience 3, 4, 5 times as much as anybody else that I know, right? Because he's put 3 videos out a day. My next top client, she's 700,000 followers on TikTok. Then you've got some around 400,000, 300,000, 200,000, 100,000, 50,000. If someone's relatively new, maybe 10,000.
Yeah.
But it's all from just like you said before, just like give value, give incredible value every single day. Stop trying to look for the best hashtag to use. They don't matter. You think the algorithm needs a fucking hashtag? The algorithm of TikTok needs you to tell it what the video's about. Bro, I gotta put a better description in. That's good. Nope. There may be an emoji, maybe some music, there's some trending music. Nope. Provide more value in a shorter amount of time. Just do it more than everybody else. That's literally the core. I mean, I'm not trying to be a parrot to Gary V or Alex Hormozy, who are like the OGs of this stuff, but this is what they say. Just give more
Yeah.
value than anybody else and you win. Whereas most people are trying to be like, how do I make 1 video a day and make it as good as 3 videos a day? Wrong question.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's the
So,
core.
and I also love how you help people get out of being in the business to working on the business. People got to go check your channel out for that one because I want to ask you some other questions as well. One I want to talk to you about is sales. A lot of people, again, have negative connotations and aversion to sales. What does sales mean to you and why is it so important?
I mean, sales, I don't even know that word, but honestly doesn't even feel like it's in my vocabulary. It's like
Okay, cool.
sale, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm not selling anything. It's like I feel like if someone blocks off an hour to talk to someone, an hour of their day. Dude, people are busy. People have stuff going on, right? And if they're not busy, there's probably a Netflix documentary that they want to watch. Like people have stuff to do, right? If someone blocks off an hour of time to sit down and talk to someone about a program or about whatever, that means they want to change their life. They want something to shift, right? So sales has this like connotation that you're like going out and be like timeshare sales, right? They like bait you to get there. Like you get a new set of golf clubs if you come and sit in the room and you come and sit in the room, they try to hard close you kind of thing. That's not what, sales in my mind is. Like our industry, someone is probably watching a video or something like that online, or they're seeing an ad or something like that. They're watching a training. They're going, okay, I like this guy. I want to know more. They're blocking off an hour of their time because something in their life is so off that they will put an hour of their time into figuring out maybe this person has the solution.
Mm,
And in my mind, then it's not a sale. It's literally just like, where are you now? Genuinely, how is that manifesting in your life? And this is where I guess the quote unquote sales training would come in, is like
yeah.
actually happening in your life. Most people on an enrollment call would go, so Naeem, like, what brought you to the call today? And you go, oh, a relation for you, this would be a bad example, but let's say that could be that I know your fiance, but let's say you and your fiance are having tons of troubles and whatever, the relationship was falling apart. Most people on a quote unquote sales call or enrollment call, they'd be like, oh, okay, got it. So the relationship's not going well. Okay, cool. Let's move on to what you do want in your relationship. Whereas the enrollment like mastery, in my mind, comes from guiding the person you're talking to, you, the potential buyer, to a place where that person can see how that thing is manifesting in their life tangibly. For example, oh, you say you're having issues with your spouse. What does that mean? Like, how long are you guys fighting for? Oh, we'll fight for days. How long did the last fight you guys had last? Oof, 4 days. Okay. And in that fight, how did you feel in that fight? Oh, I felt alone and rejected and da 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 da. Okay. And what kind of fighting is that? Are you guys slamming doors? Are you stonewalling? Are you sleeping in the same bed? All that kind of stuff. And you're not trying to manipulate anything. You're just like getting them to say, like, yeah, their life right now is they're sleeping on the couch. They feel deflated. They feel rejected and dejected and totally hopeless and lonely and all that kind of stuff. And then, okay, well, how is that feeling that you're getting from that relationship? How is that manifesting in your business? Person's like, oh, I can't even do any lead gen. I can't make my videos every day because I'm pissed off at the relationship or whatever it is. Right. So then getting really clear on how's that thing that they want help with actually affecting every area of their life, or at least the top three: health, wealth, and relationships. How's it affecting those areas? And then if the person wants to make a change, then you get clear on where they do want to go. That's the gap, wherever they are now, where they want to go. You have to know all this stuff just as good as anyone else. And then once you've got the gap, then if you are the solution, then you should be like what you're talking about with Tony Robbins. You should be emphatic about them hiring you as the person to help them get that solution. Because if you let them off that call, there's nothing worse than that. You get off a call with someone because you blew the quote unquote blew the sale, you didn't enroll them, and you know that person is destined to do nothing differently. They're going to have the exact same results. Nothing's going to change in their life, even though they blocked off an hour with you to talk to you, hoping you would break through for them.
Yep.
So is it sales? I don't know. It's like, I guess technically it's a sale because you're enrolling them in something, but I think it's a deeper opportunity to change someone's life. And I also know that some people are like, well, there's a lot of people selling products that aren't good. So that's absolutely true. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about a program that you as the entrepreneur have completely obsessed over and have completely are in such alignment with, that this program's freaking insane. And that if people don't do it, it's a massive disservice to them. Make sense?
Absolutely. Yep.
What about you? What do you think?
Exactly what you said. And that's why I asked you the question. I love how you defined it. And I had a feeling you would do that, right? It's really about serving and feeling obligated to close them, right? I use these typical terms just because most people hear them normally, right? But I want to kind of break that kind of those traditional meanings people have about it, right? So I love how it's like it is a responsibility. If you're the right fit and they just spent an hour with you, like you should feel bad if you actually don't like enroll them and help them and serve them, because they are just gonna either just keep doing the same thing, or they're gonna go somewhere else and get potentially a worse deal from somewhere else.
Oh yeah, you're totally right. They're going to go to someone who actually knows how to enroll, and they're going to buy with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
Yeah.
people they get on a sales call like, I just don't know if it was totally right for them. That person's buying from someone else.
Yeah.
And if you have conviction for your offer, then I think you got a duty to enroll them in it.
Yep.
For sure.
And that makes me think about what you said about scaling empathy, right? The deeper level it is empathy and consciousness, right? That's really what it's all trending towards as well.
Yep.
Right? Your offer, serving, empathizing with the other human being. That's a big block for a lot of people, not being able to enroll people too.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
So with the TED, you've done 4 TEDx talks. You've helped probably hundreds of people book TEDx talks. Tell us about that a little bit, why it's so important to you to.
Dude, I mean, that's like, I feel like the way that we used to go about business is just totally dead wrong, in my opinion. I think there's a new way of doing business that is not only exponentially more profitable, but like stupidly more fun. And it's called, like, I look at it as like the cave days are the old days, the surrender days is the new days, or like the new business. Cave days in the olden days, before smartphones and social media and all that kind of stuff, before having the ability to touch the marketplace at any time and figure out what it wants from us and to be able to provide value. Back in the day, when I was in real estate, I was advertising on bus benches. I was sending flyers. I was doing everything you could, like, in real, like, billboards, things of tangible in real life, because we didn't have the ability to just like go live or film a video or whatever it was, or like touch the market at any time that we wanted, right? So back in the day, you'd have to really think about it, like come up with a marketing plan and a strategy, and we're going to do this for the next year, and here's the budget and blah, blah, blah. Here's our logo, here's our brand, here's what we're known for, da, 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 da. Because we're going to have such a massive outlay of capital, you need to really think these things through. Who's my target avatar, blah, blah, how am I going to reach them? Maybe it's the phone book, cold calls, whatever. Everything has changed in the most beautiful way, in that we can now live a surrendered, we can create surrendered businesses, meaning provide value via short form content, whatever method you like. Maybe it's podcasts or YouTube or X or LinkedIn or freaking TikTok and Instagram, whatever is your pick your flavor. Provide value. Your audience will tell you what it wants. Build them the thing they want. Sell them that thing that they told you that they want. And then keep providing more and more value and keep building what they want. So as an example, the TEDx thing, I came out there and I just started posting a bunch of stuff on Facebook back when Facebook was king. And I was like, here's a bunch of free value. Here's some TEDx events. Here's some paid speaking tips. Here's some blah, 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 blah. I remember this woman going, do you help people get TEDx events, TEDx talks? And I was like, yeah, sure. A bunch of people had asked me about it. So I said, yeah, I do. She goes, how much is it? And I said, $3,000. And she goes, am I going to be your first client? She could hear it in my voice. And I'm like, yeah, you'll be my first. She goes, well, how do I know it's going to work? I was like, I'll give you $3,000 back if it doesn't work in 6 months. And she goes, okay. Then she gives me her credit card information. And I thought to myself, shit, that is the easiest sale I've ever had. Meaning people really want this. Talk to another guy. He goes, hey, I heard you help people get TEDx talk. I said, yeah, I do. He goes, how much is that? I got $3,500. He goes, how do I know it's going to work? I said, well, I'll give you your money back if it doesn't work. And he's like, okay. And he gave me the money. And that was like the universe being like, look, this is what I want of you, right? I want to help you with this. I didn't want, dude, do you think I wanted to be the 10X freaking guy? Dude, I was the school guy. I was building schools all over the world, houses. I was speaking at the UN. Now I'm the freaking webinar dude, running Facebook ads and helping people get TEDx talks. In my mind, it was a massive ego hit, to be honest with you. My ego was so big that it perceived it as a hit. Little did I know that the universe, God, was like, Taylor, spend 7 years doing this stuff so that you can learn all the things that you needed to learn for the previous phase to have been successful. Building the schools was not successful because I didn't know the stuff that I know now. Building the houses all over the world, we built 150 houses for families throughout Latin America. It's 150 families that tonight will go to bed in a house that we fundraised and built with our own hands, right? And how many houses are getting built now? This month, 0. Next month, 0. Maybe 15 by August, but that's because that company didn't work because I didn't know the stuff that I now know, right? So the universe is like, you need to do this for 7 months. It wasn't about the TEDx talks. It was about the processes, the systems, the ability to build a business that scales. And now I can take that and apply it to building the houses. I can apply it to all the stuff that I didn't apply to before just because I didn't know how to do it. So the old way of doing business is being like, this is my offer. This is what I sell. This is how much it is. You put your clients in a headlock. You're like, this is what you want. The new way, the surrendered way, is you just give value, tons and tons and tons of value, as much as you possibly can, right? Share what you would have shared with yourself 10 years ago, or when you were a kid, or whatever you were struggling. Share what would have helped you back then. Your target demographic will emerge, and it'll be different than what you think. And they'll ask you for something that you didn't know they would ask you for, and therefore you just use proven kind of structures of what sells in today's marketplace, package it up, sell it to them. They're super happy. You're super happy. And the universe is super happy because you're doing what it told you to do rather than what you are telling it you want to do.
Dude, so well said.
Thanks.
Yep. Suffering is when you don't accept what life is presenting you, right? You think it should be different when it's like, no, this is what's happening. We almost had a tsunami. We had an earthquake in the middle of the Caribbean, and there was a tsunami warning, and it was like a real one. But we're like, so suffering is like, it's not going to happen. No, it's like, this is what life is giving you, right? Even though it sounds shitty.
Oh, right.
Really, but I love that you embraced the creative process that you're in, doing the webinars, being the TED guy, right? And seeing the meaning in it, to now it's given you the skills and capabilities to even scale the empathy even more with building houses and helping more people around the world.
Yeah, dude, who knows what the freaking plan is, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yep.
I sure don't know what the plan is. It seems interesting. I want to be part of it. I definitely have my preferences. I'm not saying I'm like Michael Singer in the Surrender Experiment and just like have zero preferences in my life. I do have things that I would love. I would love to fly on a private jet, and
Yep.
that I contracted, right? I've flown on it before, but went into Burning Man. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. But I'd love to do that. I'd love to have a really dope spot on the beach. Not I'm on the beach now, but a place that I own. I'd love to have a farm. I'd love to. Those things would be really lovely and wonderful. And ideally, those are part of the grander plan. But I don't know the grander plan.
Yep.
Do you? You know
And it's
yours?
both, right? It's not about not wanting things, right? The Dalai Lama, I agree, right? Don't want stuff, but also not really, because I want to go surf tomorrow. I want to go to the gym, right? That's wants. But I think it's both. It's not getting too attached to your preferences, right? It's having preferences, but also appreciating also what does happen, right? So I have a preference to fly in private jets, but I also appreciate my life, however it ends up turning out as well.
Exactly.
So
Totally.
before we start to wrap this up, what does Minga mean?
Minga is a community coming together to do something larger than themselves. Oh, oh man. That I get all these fake accounts. It's so weird, dude. I'm so sorry, but like
What are they doing?
they're watching this. It's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Like on live to watch a live. Maybe they're like studying what I'm talking about. Like, guys, there's a better way to make money. I promise.
Are
And it's
they
even
are they
easier than what you're trying to you're trying to run right now.
are they bots? Are they bots or are they actually
No,
like,
they're not bots. They're like they try to get people to buy a crypto. They message them
oh
pretending to
yeah.
be me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw you followed me. Thanks, whatever." Which I
Uh
never do, by the way. And then they'll be like, "There's a crypto opportunity. You should get it or whatever." And
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, they just change your name probably by like a small little smidge that people don't realize, right? Your
Yeah,
username.
they put a little dot in there or a underscore or something like that. It's a yikes. I would not want to
Yep.
be. I would not want to be living out that karma.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Minga is, yeah, you get together and do something for someone that needs it in the community. It's the definition of empathy in action. You know,
Yeah.
if you guys had a tsunami, it'd be the country actually getting together to help Puerto Rico, which would be novel.
Yeah.
It'd be people really getting together to help you out of that situation. Imagine that feeling, knowing that if something really goes wrong, your community's right there. They've really got
Yeah.
your back.
Yep. That's beautiful. I like the empathy in motion. And
Yeah.
then how do you start a movement?
But you start a movement by sharing, you're doing exactly the same thing. You share wisdom every single day.
Yes.
You don't
That's
try to, right?
This is your movement. This is my movement.
Yeah, dude, what the heck? People are get obsessed. I'm gonna try to get PepsiCo on board. I'm gonna try to do this. Like, dude, no one's gonna do
Yeah.
anything with you unless you've done something yourself.
Yep.
Right? That guy with the parasite cleanses, the reason I got so involved in his, I'm actually really involved in his business now, is because he went out there and he bought 1,200 parasite cleanses. 99.9% of the people that ask for advice have actually have not taken any action themselves.
Yeah.
And yet they want a whole bunch of advice before they take any action. No, no, no. You take a ton of action,
Yeah.
and then you learn which way you want to, you learn which way you want to go. And then the mentor I love mentoring people that take massive action. I just will not mentor someone who's never taken any action.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah. Absolutely. He bought all the glasses without knowing how to sell them. I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, what you just said is great, right? It's like every day we're so blessed in this new world of business and technology. Every day you could wake up and you're running your own movement, which
Yes,
is so
exactly.
beautiful. How exciting is that?
I love that. Thank you.
Amazing, man. So people can find you. Where can people find you? You have a website, taylorconroy.com. Then go to your TikTok.
Conroy.com works. Yeah. TikTok. I think you put in Taylor Conroy on TikTok, you'll see me be the top result. There's like
Cool.
100 fake accounts, but you'll see which one's mine.
They should also watch your TED Talk. You go to YouTube and check out his TEDx talks
Sure.
there
Sure.
too.
Yeah, buddy. Naeem, thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing, Taylor. And what's your final departing message for everybody?
Oh, I don't know. I surrender to what is.
Boom. There you go.
What's your departing message?
My departing message is, let me think about it. I loved what the movement thing, but even before that, when you talked about, I can't remember the actual words, but basically every day it's like our business is our movement, right? It's like literally every day we get to wake up and like that's our mission in the world and focus on that, right? And it's easier said than done because people do get caught up in the metrics and the dollars and things like that. But if you could train yourself to remember that it's like the deeper purpose and the bigger why, and like what is that intensity you have about something that you're so passionate about, like every day it's such a blessing that we get to do this and like jump on a podcast and promote it to the whole freaking world and share a message that we think is meaningful. Oh, that scale empathy, that too. Boom. There you go.
Thank you for having me.
All right, bro.
Appreciate you.